Hi guys, my name is Kunal and I am security consultant at Redfox Security. Today we are diving deep into crucial topic in Active Directory, Kerberos authentication. In this video we will discuss about the following topics. Introduction to Kerberos, how does Kerberos work and what is Kerberos authentication, key components of Kerberos authentication and its steps in depth, and benefits of Kerberos. What are the security challenges with Kerberos we can face? That's it. So let's discuss introduction to Kerberos. Kerberos is one of the most important and widely used authentication protocol in network environments, particularly in Active Directory. It has been default authentication protocol for domain accounts since Windows 2000. By default, Kerberos operates over port 8080 and it is used every time a user logs into their PC or tries to access a network service. The key advantage of Kerberos authentication is users don't have to re-enter their password repeatedly, and servers do not need to store or access each user password directly. This makes Kerberos a great example of centralized authentication. Once authenticated, the user can access services without sending their password across the network over and over again. Next, we will discuss how Kerberos works and what is Kerberos authentication. Basically, Kerberos is a stateless authentication protocol that uses tickets to verify the identity of user instead of keep tracking of user session. Kerberos issues ticket which allow user to authenticate themselves without having repeatedly sent their password. When a user log in, the KDC stands for Kerberos Key Distribution Center. Issue a special kind of ticket called Ticket Granting Ticket or TGT. This TGT is then used to request access to other services on the network. This TGT is then used to request access to other services on the network. The Ticket Granting Service, in short TGS, will issue service-specific tickets based on the user valid TGT. No need for the user password at this stage. Do not worry about these steps. We will discuss each step in depth in few minutes in the later slides. The whole process ensures that a user credentials are never transmitted over the network more than once, which improve security by reducing the risk of credential theft. Another major benefit of Kerberos is that it is zero knowledge proof protocol. This means that the password itself is never shared, only proof that the user has correct password. Next, the key components of Kerberos. Basically, the KDC is crucial component of Kerberos authentication system. It serves as the central authority responsible for managing and distributing secret keys and authentication tickets. The components of KDC are like Authentication Service, in short AS. This part of the KDC is responsible for verifying user identities during the initial login process. It checks the user credentials like username and password and issue a ticket granting ticket, in short TGT. If credentials are valid, then it will issue the TGT. Next one is TGS. This is the second part of the KDC. After receiving a TGT, user interacts with the ticket granting service, in short TGS, to obtain tickets for accessing specific services. The function of KDCs are like user authentication, issuing tickets, and key management. Basically, the KDC securely manage and store cryptographic keys used to encrypt and decrypt ticket and messages. Next, we will discuss Kerberos authentication and its steps step by step. So first, let's again understand Kerberos authentication by visualizing the following steps. So basically, the Kerberos authentication, especially the ticket granting ticket, in short TGT, and the ticket granting service, in short TGS process. If you are curious about how Kerberos works behind the scene and what happens when you log into a domain, then you are right place. Let's break it down step by step. In first step, when a user logs into domain, the first request is made to the KDC, which lives on the domain controller. This request is called ASREQ, stand for authentication request, a timestamp that is encrypted with the user's NTLM hash. Basically, the NTLM hash is essentially a representation of the user's password. By encrypting the timestamp with this hash, the KDC can verify the user identity. Next, the domain controller or DC checks if the information sent by the user is valid or not. After verifying, KDC respond back by sending ticket granting ticket, in short TGT. The important thing to know here is that TGT is signed using password hash of a special account on the DC called Kerberos. This hash is only stored on domain controller. In second step, now user has the TGT, but still user need access to resources like file server or an application. To do that, user send the TGT back to the KDC to request something called a ticket granting service, in short TGS. In third and fourth step, basically in the third and fourth step, I'm gonna combine the both step for better understanding. The KDC checks if the TGT is valid or not. If valid, then KDC issue a ticket granting service, basically the TGS. But here is a twist. This ticket is encrypted with the NTLM hash of the service that user is requesting access to. Basically the NTLM hash of the service account. This ensures that only service can decrypt and verify the ticket. In fifth step, finally the user represents the TGS to the service they want to access. Since the service knows its own NTLM has, it can decrypt the TGS to verify its authenticity and grant the user access. And that's how Kerberos authentication works. By using both TGT and TGS, the KDC ensures that your credentials remain secure while granting you access to the resources you need. Let's discuss benefit of Kerberos. Here are some benefits of Kerberos, like centralized authentication, which improves the security posture of the environment, eliminates password transmission over the network, protect against pass-the-hash attacks, and individual credentials for each sessions, mitigating risks like double hop problem. So basically the pass-the-hash attacks used when the domain or the environment use an NTLM authentication. So any attacker can use NTLM hash to pass it for authentication. Basically it's called, that's why it's called pass-the-hash attack. Next we will talk about security challenges with Kerberos. Attacker can perform golden tickets. Basically in Kerberos authentication, attacker can perform golden tickets if they stole your TGT, which can be retrieved from your memory, basically from LSS. Attacker can perform pass the ticket attacks using the stolen tickets. Like in NTLM authentication, attacker can use NTLM hash to perform the pass the hash attacks, but in Kerberos authentication, attacker can steal your tickets to perform the pass the ticket attacks, like tool Rubius. And attacker can gather the tickets from your host if they are local administrator on the system. Basically attacker can utilize tools like Mimikaz to extract the tickets from your memory to theft the tickets, and then later they can perform the pass the ticket attacks using Rubius. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more in-depth cybersecurity content. Thank you.